And we're ready to hit the ground running with this year's session. First item up for your approval is the minutes from the January 14 committee meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes? You should have had them in your email. So moved by Representative Neighbor. Second. Where's your name tag? I know who you are. Second by Representative Chauncey. I just didn't want to mess it up. All right. All those in favor of approval of the January 14 minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Very good. Next item, request for bill introductions. Do we have any? Yes, Representative, approach.
Thank you. Representative Laura Williams introducing RS 2655, which has to do with portable benefit plans for independent contractors.
All right. Is there objection to entering that bill request? Seeing none, it is entered. Thank you, Representative. Any further? Yes, another representative. Come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Linda Featherston, House District 16. I'm here today on behalf of the Susan G. Komen Foundation, women diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and most especially my friend Robin, who passed from this terrible disease some years ago. I have 26 RS 2658, which eliminates the requirement that patients with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer go through step therapy. They will just proceed directly to the best practice treatment as diagnosed by their physician.
Is there objection to the entering this bill request? Seeing none. All right, it is entered.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Any further bill introductions? Going once, going twice. All right. Now let's get on with the show. First off, we have a very special guest speaker, Insurance Commissioner Vicki Schmidt, to give us an update on the Department of Insurance. Welcome to committee, Commissioner.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and greetings to all of you. I just want to say thanks for doing your job every day and showing up here. It is a sacrifice to get here, and I'm glad that you have said yes. As I was preparing for these remarks, I realized that this is the 8th time I've spoken to you, and this will be my last time giving you an update on the insurance department as commissioner. And you've always made me feel very welcome, and I do appreciate that. I always enjoy watching Eric when he has to talk to the new members about risk-based capital, because he has to do a little tap dance and everything to do that. But then I remember that we fixed that bill last year, and so that's kind of the recurring theme on these comments today, things we've fixed. Every year, the committee looks a little bit different, and so welcome to the new members, and know that oh, okay. Is that my clicker? I don't need that clicker. What am I doing? Okay, anyway, I don't know what that is. Oh, that's in my testimony. Okay, well, I'm not reading that. Okay, and you're welcome. So every year the committee looks a little different, so welcome to the new members, and I certainly look forward to working with you. I have a handout. First I want to talk about our mission is to regulate, educate, and advocate. And as commissioner, I've certainly focused on fiscal responsibility and efficiency, and I think that, and certainly customer service. And I think that our numbers that I'm going to give you today reflect that. I'd like to redirect you to this handout that you have. It's a graph, and or you can just look at mine if you have really good eyes. But anyway, 2025 was, well, first I'd like to say, since I have been insurance commissioner, we have recovered $202.7 million and returned that back to Kansas families. That includes what we've done through the Consumer Assistance Division and certainly what we've done through the National Insurance Policy Locator. 2025 was another record year. We recovered $56.7 million in 2025, and we're still counting. Because the way we do that is the cleanest way to separate the numbers are that if we opened a case in 2025, then it's going to go into those 2025 numbers. And we're still closing some cases, so those numbers aren't final yet. And also, we get updates on the life insurance policy note locator. The light blue line, you can see, is where our recovery started when I came here, a little less than 4 million, I think, and then how we have gone up incredibly every year. I am the most proud of this work because this really does provide a direct impact to Kansas families and helping people day-to-day lives. Lauren Hermes is here, and you know you have to stand up. Lauren is the director of the Consumer Assistance Division. I'd like to point out that in our department, she supervises 19 staff, and her department's wholly responsible for that $56.7 million and keeping track of all that for us. So thank you, Lauren. Then the second number I'd like to point out to you is the revenue reductions, which is a dark blue line. So these reductions would not have happened without all of your support. And thank you for everything you've done through the years. And hopefully one more session here, you'll allow me to do a few more bills for reductions. But I really do appreciate all of the things that you have done in supporting the agendas. We've listed the reductions at the top here, and then obviously we've graphed them out for you. As you might remember, 2019 through 2021, we worked on our licensing bill to upgrade and overhaul our licensing system. That passed and began in 2022. So you'll see the dip in 2022, a big dip in 2022. We also had a 2-year moratorium on our security fees in 2022 and 2023, and then we came back in 2024 and 2025, and we came back with the security fees, and we decreased them by half of what they were. So that shows that a little bit of an uptick there in that revenue. Our statutes allow us to waive some fees, and but we still don't have the ability to do the security fees like you've given us with the insurance fees, the up to bills. So we have a bill for you this year that will help us be able to do the security fees. That allows for a consistent fee schedule instead of like a moratorium 2 years and then fees, and then a moratorium because we collected too much again. So I think it will be, it'll help us have a respectable ending balance also. Now might be a good time to introduce Eric Turek, and if you don't know him, come see me afterwards. But he'll be visiting with you a little bit later about the 2026 legislative agenda, and I hear he might have some bills for you tomorrow to introduce. In 2023 and 2025, we also got additional authority to lower some fees and from you all, and I did lower them. Last fall, I announced another $1 million in fee reductions based on the 2025 legislative session. Last session, we also removed the 1% premium tax revenue that we retained in the department, and you helped us get rid of the statutory mandate for us to do that. All of these reductions combined have made for a $96.5 million reduction in the cost of doing business in Kansas. It lowered the regulatory burden, and hopefully that regulatory burden, I feel like, is passed on to consumers. And so by lowering the regulatory burden and reduce the revenue going into the department, it's been a good thing for consumers. The graph shows that it took us some time to get there, but we have made enduring changes in the department statutes that have set us on a path of fiscal responsibility and certainly stability. I'd like to point out that this is one of my favorite things to point out, that we have recovered twice as much for Kansans from 2019 to 2025 than it costs to operate the department. And of course, that's excluding a firefighter relief and work comp that are pass-throughs for us. But I think that says a lot about the hard work that the Consumer Assistance Division does for us. You know, we've continued to, like I said, we're maximizing our services that we're providing, and we're doing it effectively and efficiently. The department has consistently responded to actions to the legislature and policies that you have given us. One is in 2024, we did the Protect Vulnerable Adults from Financial Exploitation. Thank you for that. John Eichhorn is here. He is a Director of Compliance and Enforcement and Anti-Fraud, and he's taking the lead on implementing that law. I will say that that law became effective on July 1st of that year, and I was astounded at how fast people became aware of that, and how we work with APS on that, Adult Protective Services. It's a great working relationship between two agencies. It has allowed us to protect and prevent $4.97 million from going to fraudsters. That's really important to me, because people shouldn't be taken advantage of. And so I really want to thank you for the additional tool that you have provided to us. The full report for fiscal year 2025 is on our website, and so I encourage you to look that up. We also have continued our Smart Invest ks.gov. That's where we try to educate Kansans about investment fraud, and try to educate them on questions they should ask if somebody's asking them to invest, and for sure tell them what information they should never provide over the phone or at the coffee shop. So we really try to back up that train and have them be able to ask questions up front so they won't be a victim of fraud. There have been some media reports recently on cases both at the state and federal level that our office has investigated and referred for prosecution. I hate this line, but I cannot comment on those directly because prosecutions are pending. But as you see the headlines, what I want you to know is that these are the largest cases that the Insurance Commissioner's Office has ever investigated in state history. So stay tuned. Last year, you also approved the real-time insurance verification system. We selected a vendor. We went through a competitive bid process, selected a vendor, and things are going really, really well getting it up and going. I have every confidence in the world that we'll meet your July 1st deadline, and with any luck, maybe even a little before that. As a reminder, uninsured motorists have cost Kansans $51 million in a 2-year period of time. So I'm hoping to see that cost go down, and obviously I hope that costs go down for Kansans in the process. Well, y'all are talking a lot about affordability this year, and everywhere I go, that is what people are talking about, whether it's at the grocery store, church, wherever I go. So I want to give you a couple of things to think about from the insurance perspective as you are discussing that affordability this session. Property valuations. I know that when, I want you to understand, and I know you do, but I want to piece it together for you, that property valuations, when they increase, so do your insurance costs. It's not a one-to-one either. So, you know, I think that valuations are just an important part of this process, and it won't, so when you talk about property tax bills and things, it doesn't just affect the property tax, it'll also affect people's premiums on their houses. And I think that just so you kind of put that in the back of your mind, it also will decrease the insurance costs as well. Fraud hurts everyone, and we are, the Coalition Against Insurance Fraud says that each person pays about $932 in premiums every year because of insurance fraud. So think about that for a minute. That's a lot of money on your premiums. The department passed legislation last session through the House, thank you very much, that will give us some additional tools for fighting insurance fraud. We're hopeful Senator Warren will give us a hearing this year so we can begin punishing some of those bad actors that cost each one of us. Insurance savings accounts. I proposed this last year, And it's a way to provide Kansans a tax-free way for insurance costs, for premiums and deductibles. This would be the first of its kind in the nation, and I hope we can get your support on that. Well, on the healthcare front, I know that you all know I'm a breast cancer survivor, and early detection saved my life. I shared my diagnosis publicly, and I heard from hundreds of Kansans, many of them who had navigated insurance and breast cancer detection. So this year, introduced a bill that will be, I guess, would eliminate the cost share for MRI and other imaging related to breast cancer detection. This benefit has been a benefit that the state employee health plan already has. So those of you on the state insurance plan already have seen this benefit for more than 2 years now, and I think it's time to share this benefit with the rest of Kansans. I want to give you an operational update and introduce a few more people. We have Assistant Commissioner of Insurance, Clay Johnson. He is not new to the department. He had been serving as the Assistant General Counsel. We have a new website we just launched, and if you haven't been on it, I hope you will. We have a lot of information on our website, and that's kind of a curse in some ways of people trying to find things, but I think we've better organized it, and it's a better use of that. So we also, last year, I think we've done it for a couple of years, but we have submitted to you copy ready, if you please, things for your newsletter. And for those of you that do a newsletter, it's sometimes hard to find content, and that's ready to go. So we are going to continue providing that for your newsletter, and the first one will be about the new website information. We'll continue sharing updates throughout the session, and especially through storm season, which might be here Friday, I guess. But anyway, if there's anything that you need from the insurance department, if you want us to do a quick thing on a certain subject that we do at the department, let us know, and we'll make that happen for you. The department was originally slated to have its next accreditation later this year, but NAIC wanted to spread out the number of states that are reviewed each year, and so they bumped Kansas to 2027. Trying not to smile as I say that, but I am confident. I'm very confident that that the insurance department will be very prepared for accreditation, and I feel like it's in a much better place than when I found it and accreditation was knocking on my doorstep. So it'll be fine. I would like to point out in your folder, you have a list of key staff in your folder, and that can assist you in the department. And let's see, I want to introduce the people that I missed here. Steve Carr is our general counsel, and Mandy Rowe is our chief of staff. Everybody else got introduced, right? Okay. Lastly, I want to thank the people that sit at this table and over here. I'd like to thank the secretary and certainly the research and revisor staff for helping us prepare our bills this session. We're not coming in with 16 bills this session. Some of you may breathe a sigh of relief. I know I am. But they work with us all year round, and they help us in so many ways. And they're always here to take our questions. So with your permission, Mr. Chair, I'll turn it over to Eric to talk to you briefly about a couple of the bills.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And stay tuned. There may be questions. You never know.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I am Eric Turk, the Director of Government Affairs for the Department of Insurance. Pleased to just briefly go through our legislative agenda. I know the Commissioner touched on a lot of these topics, but I might go into a little bit more detail on a couple of these. The insurance savings account legislation, there's actually a hearing for Monday in the House Tax Committee, so it'll be happening at the same time as this committee. This is an account, I know that the legislature, many of you on this committee have helped pass the first-time homebuyer savings account and the adoption savings account. The Insurance Savings Account Act that we are introducing mirrors those. And so we are aware of the costs of insurance to families and Kansas businesses. We want to build off of the successes of those accounts for families and businesses just for property and casualty insurance premiums and deductibles. So the contribution limits are $6,000 for individuals, $12,000 for families, $25,000 for Kansas businesses. And that would be, it would act as a deduction from your income tax liability at the state level. Anti-fraud, as the commissioner stated, it's a scourge on the industry. It costs each one of us, every law-abiding Kansan, about $900 more each year in increased premiums. You all supported this. It passed at 122 to 1. That was House Bill 2323. We look forward to appealing to the Senate and asking for better tools as we try to combat the more crafty criminals in the age of AI. House concurrent, this is the third item. House concurrent resolution 5013 went through this committee. This is a concurrent resolution whereby the Kansas legislature is urging Congress to allow state regulators to regulate Medicare Advantage. It passed 116 to 2. I think we have a hearing on Monday about that. I think that commissioners of both stripes all across the country, we think that, and the departments think that we can do a better job of protecting consumers than the federal government can. Mammogram affordability, I know the commissioner mentioned this, but for 2 years, every one of us, and I'm assuming most of you on this committee are members of the State Employee Health Plan, we have had this benefit of supplemental and diagnostic breast cancer screenings at no cost. And we think it's time to pass that benefit on to Kansans as well. Lowering fees, I'm really not going to talk about that too much. You know, the commissioner talked about it already. We really appreciate the support that we've received from you all on helping us pass House Bill 2050 that let the commissioner lower about 100 different types of fees. I think for this calendar year, we expect to save the industry about $1.1 million, and that builds off of the other bills that you have helped us pass. So we appreciate that. And lastly, licensing timeframes. We are coming back to you again for sort of a fix. Last year, you all helped pass Senate Bill 42. One of those provisions included that 15 business day requirement to respond to 14 calendar days. As the representative from Augusta probably remembers, you know, we tried to consolidate everything and make the language very clean, and we did, although come the conference committee process, there's a lot of policies that are merged into one. There was one casualty, and so we currently have companies having to respond within 14 calendar days, but the agents have a different threshold. We just want a consistent, uniform response requirement for those, for agents, public adjusters, and the companies. And there's a small insurance agent licensure fix that I'll talk about in great detail when the hearing comes up. So, Mr. Chairman, we're happy to stand for questions. And I think that we should be introducing these on Monday. Not today, no, but on Monday, we should be introducing these bills, at least the bottom three. We'll have to stay tuned, Mr. Chairman.
Those bills are going to be introduced somewhere. All right, committee, do we have any questions for the commissioner or Eric? Yes, Representative Bergkamp.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Both of you here is really messing me up.
On the insurance saving account, will that be like a HSA where you can put that in a mutual fund for a period of time?
So this would be an account, Mr. Chairman, Eric Turek from the Department of Insurance. This would be no different than the first-time home buyers and the adoption savings account. So that you could open these accounts at any Kansas financial institution with. We typically don't use the term HSA when we're talking about these, only because that has a federal tax advantage when this is just at the state level.
Nope, that makes sense. Thank you.
All right, committee, further questions? Excellent. Representative Wagner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you don't mind taking another question on that, a insurance saving account, I mean, that seems kind of odd. I mean, in comparison to like education or adoption where you're saving for 5 or 10 years for something that's going to come up down the road. I mean, insurance you tend to pay every year. Is there, have other states done this? I mean, again, I elaborate if you don't mind, a little bit, the logic of it.
Schmidt, Insurance Commissioner. So no other state has done it. Other states have disaster savings accounts where they save, we don't live on the coast, and so we don't have some of the issues that some of the other states have. But no other state has done this. I believe I think another state is thinking about it this year. I don't know whether they did it or not, but this would be only to pay for premiums and deductibles. But what we're seeing in the insurance industry is for at least house and auto, home and auto, or property and casualty, we're seeing, I don't think you can get a policy with a $250 deductible anymore, or $500 deductible. They are in thousands of dollars, and some of them are going to percentages. So this would allow a homeowner or a renter to save for that. In the case of a renter, they also might be saving for when they purchased a house, if that was in their cards. Thank you.
All right, ranking neighbor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On a personal note, I just want to thank you for what you've done for the insurance department. And I've been here for all of your introductions here and discussions. Your department has been helpful, they've been kind, they've been knowledgeable, they've been informative, and I think they've been very fair. And for that, and our Kansas citizens, I don't think we can ask for more. So thank you, and we will miss your talents, but your staff has to stay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I will portray that to them. I really had wished that I could bring all 19 of our consumer assistance division with us, because I'd like for you to see the people that actually do the work, and they are very empathetic, and they're just great. And we still answer our phones.
I was just having that conversation right before the meeting, that over there, I would recommend everyone visit the insurance department. We see 2, 3, 4, 6 faces total, but there's a whole lot going on over there. There's a whole lot more people and a whole lot more activity than what we see just here in committee, and it's kind of interesting to watch. It's neat to see the machine that we have going on over there in the insurance department. Representative Wagner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Another question. I do remember the Protect Vulnerable Adults from Financial Exploitation Act, and I was kind of curious a little more. That's almost $5 million, which is, and these are all cases where somebody reached out to the agency because they were concerned, or was it generated by families or by, social service providers? And do you expect this number to go up next year?
I expect the number to continue increasing exponentially, but it can come from any of the above, including people in the financial services industry, and brokers and dealers. But I'll let John.
Yeah, my name is John Eichhorn. I'm the Director of Compliance Enforcement and Anti-Fraud. And the $5 million that we're talking about is money that the broker-dealers, investment advisors has held so that it didn't go out. So underneath the law that you passed, you gave them the tools to be able to delay the money from being distributed to the fraudsters. And then, of course, they immediately reported that to us. And then we open a case and we start working with both the broker-dealer, the investment advisor, and the client, the person that's being defrauded. And like Vicki said, also the APS folks are wonderful to work with. We work very closely with them, making sure that they also are giving the client the appropriate attention if they need that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it's good to have a bill that definitely, produced results. So very good.
It's very exciting, yes.
All right, Representative Haskins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Commissioner, I want to agree with my ranking member and office mate on how much I enjoy your presentations, and professional, thorough, on target. With that said, I would like to circle back. 2 years ago, I asked you during a presentation about prior authorization. And the prior authorization with my constituents is a troubling thing that needs to be regulated, that it's almost criminal what insurance companies specifically put patients through when the experts right there do on prior authorization. You said you would look into it. You said you would address it. I'm curious, what steps have you taken since 2024 to now? And before you leave, what Christmas list would you like to give us as a statutory requirement that we can support to help improve the situation of the prior authorization problem?
Sure, and thank you for the question. So, we have been working on that with, and I've been working also across with the NAIC, because the NAIC, all commissioners and directors are superintendents are concerned about this. And many of them have, we're all looking at it and trying to figure out where we have the authority to do what we need to do. I do think that, we have, when a PA gets denied, we do have our internal process, our internal medical review that we can go through to get that done, whether that's as a tool to the provider and to the patient. And we've seen a growth in the cases that we take to the IMR process. One thing that I learned about maybe a couple of months ago from another state when we were talking about what we could do is that that state requires that only an MD can deny a service. And I think there'd have to be some guardrails on that also, like we do on the IMR. You wouldn't want an OBGYN deciding about an ear, nose, and throat process. But, I do think that having an MD involved makes it so that, because most of the time when we can get to the right person on a PA, we can get the issue solved. So we thought about doing legislation this year with that. We didn't have enough of the background from the other state to do that, but I would definitely be working on that this fall. I think it's a start. AI is going to be something that we're going to have to address in this process, and I think that's where NAIC is a little bit not sure right now on how companies are going to use AI and to, if that'd be a positive or a negative. But in the PA process, I just don't know. But the PA process is definitely broken, and I'm pretty sure if we came with any bill on a PA, you'd see a line of people behind me that would not like that.
Well, I hear this Eric's going to propose some bills on Monday, which I don't know if that's going to fly, but maybe you still have time to introduce bills but thank you very much for the information.
Are you gonna sweet talk Eileen for me?
Oh, no. I sit on the wrong side of the aisle for this, so she does a wonderful job. The minutes are great. Thank you very much. See, this is why I don't ask, because I've already insulted. I apologize for that, for giving the extra duties of the minutes. I strike that.
The minutes are good.
For the record, we've never had to correct the minutes, all right? Carol? All right. Any further questions for the insurance commissioner? Well, I think that ended the all conversation.
Thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for being here. All right. Committee, over the interim, speaking of broken, over the interim, we had a committee hearing on the 340B and PBM issues going on in the state. And those two got a little bit conflated in the committee, but they are two separate and completely independent issues. But nonetheless, we had a hearing on it, and to give us a briefing of that meeting, we have Elizabeth Cohn, Senior Research Analyst. Welcome to committee, Elizabeth.
Thank you. So The report on the Special Committee of Pharmaceutical Studies is available on the KLRD website under interim committees and under the 2025 Special Committee. So it was a one-day meeting, and on September 26th of 2025, they were charged with to review and study issues regarding pharmacy benefit managers and the 340 program. Section 340B of the Public Health Service Act instructs the Secretary of Health and Human Services to enter into agreements with manufacturers of covered outpatient drugs under which the amount to be paid to manufacturers by certain statutory authority, certain statutorily defined covered entities does not exceed 340B ceiling price. So the committee began with a review of the prior study, which was to the 2022 Kansas Legislature. So they reviewed that report. And then we had the opportunity to have presentations on the federal legislation that was presented, as well as a review from Kansas Senators Roger Marshall and Jerry Moran regarding the status of federal legislation and policy. And currently, there are some pending federal legislation, but it has not yet passed out of Congress. There was a review of various state legislative initiatives regarding 340B and PBMs that was provided by a senior director from the American Legislative Exchange Council. And all of this testimony is available on the website for the interim if there's anything in particular you would like to know more about. And then the insurance department came and presented on implementation of enacted Kansas legislation regarding PBM since 2022. And we also had a review from the deputy director of the state employee health plan regarding the 4 medical plans and how the pharmacy program is administered by Aetna and Blue Cross and Blue Shield for Kansas state employees. Last, there was a discussion between regarding the 340B program, employers, hospitals, pharmacy, and various representatives of industry. If you look on page 6 of the report, you will see all of the conferees who attended and presented regarding their various perspectives. The committee had a lively discussion, but they did not make any recommendations to the 2026 legislature.
Very good. All right. Questions regarding the content of the meeting for Elizabeth? Seeing none. All right, very good. Having been co-chair of that committee, we didn't make specific recommendations of the legislature. One of the things that I think, and I think anyone that took part in this will agree, we kind of sang Kumbaya at the end of it. We all agreed that something could be broken. We think something is broken, but we didn't exactly have the information necessary to start tinkering under the hood. And so one of the things that, well, several of the things that you're going to see this year, 2 of them will be dropped on Monday, will be for bringing more facts to bear in the 340B and PBM process. So that, well, we didn't mention this one, but PSAOs are also included in this. Wholesale purchasing also figures into the equation. So we're going to shine a light on some of these things and look for some more transparency so that we can actually see where's the money coming from, where's it going, who's handling it in the meanwhile, and how much money are we talking about? And those were things that we didn't get a real clear answer out of anyone. We had, well, or we had conflicting information in the committee. And so I'm looking forward to at least identifying what the problem is, hopefully, in this committee with some of the bills that I plan on working this year. So just to give you a little bit of a sneak peek at what we're looking at, is that's going to be to try to figure out what exact problem we have so that we can then seek to perhaps fix that problem. Anyway, questions, comments, anything of that nature before we adjourn? I know, you know, our time passes way too quickly here. All right, seeing none. All right, with that, we are adjourned.